If you don't know your history, you wouldn't know where you're going in this world. It is vital, it is important that you know your history. And this month, to celebrate men of courage, torchbearers, people who have led the way, who are still leading the way and making sure that our generations to come have a better life. And today we're going to be discussing about James Kwejiri Aggrey, who was born in Choko on the 18th October 1875. 1875. Where was I at that time? I wasn't even my papa and grandpa. And we have in studio one of the best historian who is a practitioner also. My very, very own father. Love him so much. Today he's looking fantastic. I'm talking about lawyer Anokye. A very, very good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Then? Missing the last name. Me drew fear na me niaje papa because me ni pe bia me free chrome for a very long time. Inti me fantin why some way. Na fantin na America no na fum kra. No was no oh yeah the papa. Inti me ko fie me share we ni back and I was enjoying you and the Rebecca fantin kakra. Yeah. But before we even get into your friend in the program, I want you to, if you missed your friend in the motivation this morning, I want us to bring it back so that we will base our, conversation on the motivation. I'm wondering what, okay, let's look at it. Now look at it, the piano right there. It says, if you play only the white notes on a piano, you get only sharps. If only the black keys, you get flats. But if you play the two together, now that is where I want to base my listing. It says, if you play the two together, you get harmony and beautiful music. Harmony and beautiful music. And this was written by James Kwejiri Aggrey, who is also the co-founder of Achimota School. Interesting one indeed. One more time, a very good morning to you.
Good morning,
You're looking fantastic.
Thank you.
Always sharp. Okay, for a man of this name to give us such a quote, before we even get into what was going on in his mind, if you probably have an idea for him to come out with this quote.
That's a great question. You see, Aggrey was born at Choko.
Okay.
See, at that time in Accra, we had a high street.
All right.
Leading from the very Choko end of Accra to Osu Castle.
Okay.
Through Oxford Street. So you see that at one end of the city, you see the poor and the vulnerable, Choko. Right. And then at the other, following the same street, you see the most affluent. In those days, we didn't have East Legon or cantonments or anything. Accra was based on this.
Was it called British Accra or what?
This area was British Accra.
Oh, okay.
And then the Osu area was the Danish Accra.
Oh, okay.
Because the Osu Castle was built by the Danes. You understand? So this place, Jamestown, by the English people.
Okay.
So that was the disparity. His hometown was Anomabo.
Okay.
And that also influenced him a lot because the Anomabo people very close to the castle, you understand, having missionary education, as opposed to surrounding villages not knowing anything at all.
Wow.
So the haves and have-nots was operating on his mind. Then too, he was born in Ghana, where at that time there was no girls' school.
Okay.
He attended Infantipim School, then called Wesleyan High School. And the few schools we had then, including training schools, were all for males, no females. And he felt that when God says in the Bible, or if it was Moses who said it, that in the beginning, God created a man and a woman. in his own image. You know, he says in the beginning, God created man in his own image. A man and a woman, he made them. So there was equality from the very word go.
Yeah.
Then you talk about the creation, you hear the Bible saying, after creating man, God felt that he should not live alone. He should make him a helper. That helper, people misconceive it to mean a house help or somebody who is a substandard person or an afterthought. But Agre defined it to mean, in practical terms, a president choosing a financial advisor or economic advisor. That person is more knowledgeable than the president in terms of economics and finance. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
as my former dean of the law faculty told me, that told the entire class, that to choose a foreign affairs minister, you should always be a lawyer. Why? Because he has read international law rather than choosing anybody at all. So we are saying that whenever they say they are giving you a helper, that helper is not somebody who is substandard, but like you or better. So that was why Agre always felt the white and the black keys. You know, the black keys will always be flat. When you say flat, low tone.
Low tone.
And then the white keys, sharp. You have to play with the two so that there will be harmony, there will be music. Otherwise, you can't make it.
Wow.
Then, in his sojourn in America, that was where he lived among white and black people.
Okay.
The blacks not having civil rights, completely underrated because they came out of slavery, no respect whatsoever. So you will see that from infancy to his adulthood, that rivalry has been there. Black, white, poor, rich, and then man, woman.
Okay.
And that made him to coin the fact that God, in his ultimate wisdom, knew why he created certain people poor. After all, in the Bible, Jesus Christ said, blessed are the poor. Somewhere along the line, he also said, the poor will always be with you. So he knew why some people will be poor, why some too will be rich. And to be a good man, you must know how to merge the two in order to get a harmony. That was his philosophy.
Wow. So in short...
So you want us to speak only English today?
But I say...
Well...
No,
you
but
go on. I don't have a problem. You go on.
In short, no, he saw the need for us to work together as a...
In every aspect of human life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Edwin there, he achieved that by making sure that he brings that out.
Of course, he did achieve it. Of course, he's fully achieved that in his very short life that he led. He lived on this earth. You know, he died in 1927. We were saying he was born in 1875. He died in 1927 at the age of about 53. So very, very young. But he was able to achieve it. Going down to start from the beginning. From Anomabo, Oko Mfantipim School, Owie na what Owie na minka twi
ni afra
mate Owie na okema minka Mfanti Owie na what no call Ebrichi US about the first Gold Coaster to have attended an university in the United States.
Wow.
You know, because normally the colonial masters would try to poach the brightest and the best of the sons of the continent, send them to the metropolitan country to educate them in order to come back and assist them in ruling the people. So when they come, they are not different from anybody.
Was it a brilliant student?
No, he completed in Mfantipim, and he had to go to university.
Okay.
So he had to go to, and then the missionaries too were interested in him because they discovered that at a very early age, this boy knew Greek and Latin. He taught himself Greek and then Latin.
Wow.
And so they felt he would be good as a priest, you know, and so they gave him scholarship to Livingston College, and then later Columbia University. Then he did his PhD in theology. And then after that, he was made the trustee of the Phelps-Stokes Foundation. Now, them Phelps-Stokes Foundation in America, and once again, or yeah, education trust, which had been set up for the development of black people in America.
Okay.
And this man, being an African, not an American citizen, to become a trustee meant he was outstanding. That was the first thing. And being there, it enabled him to persuade the American government to sponsor him and his team to Africa to see how best African education could be revolutionized.
Wow.
Until Obey, countries of the city, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, South Africa, Congo, Malawi, and then Angola, these 9 countries. Now, can you imagine the impact he made? In the case of Ghana, he came face to face with a young man who so much admired Agri to the extent that anytime Agri finished his lectures, that boy would stand on the table and speak in the same tone, using the same voice as Agri, and then imitate him. And then when people were calling Agri, Agri of Africa, he also said that, look at me, one day I will become Nkrumah of Africa.
Wow.
And it was,
so this is where it all started.
It all started. Kwame Nkrumah speaks like, or spoke like Agri. Yeah, ni BBA Agri. And no wonder Nkrumah declined going to UK for his education and followed Agri steps. That's why Nkrumah found himself in the US. Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. That was it. Then in Nigeria too, he also mentored a young man who also followed his steps and became the first president of Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe. And then in Malawi, he mentored a young man who also became the first president of that country, Hastings Kamuzu Banda. So you could see the impact of Agri, that influence, if I should borrow your own word, the influencer Agri Onya will be before Yendo. Now in South Africa, under my apartheid system now, when into offend then abroad before what they know won't go school cry. Na time who brony sorry bibini abroad wo hailing na wakite. I'm talking about Agri. There Agri wabe based on those days we may not have airport, but at the harbor we can meet Agri no share. A routine of a retinue of white people going to meet a black person. Before no when you there no a black. Into what now what one star coca Agri skin na share. The beer say bring na why and dema. And he was a Ghanaian called Agri.
To that extent, that one trust Brony and they obey to me a painting.
No, neither one trust Brony. The philosophy here was that they never believed that a black man could reach that status. That is the philosophy here. There, so biba enwa. Today, America say, my name is Anokye. If you are called Anokye, people will think you are from Ashanti or any of the tree-speaking areas. Now, say be American Hausa na ewa. Definitely. It would amaze people and they would want to know more. So touching his skin meant that they were just amazed that somebody who was just one of them could excel to that level. And so he became an inspiration. That also revolutionized education in South Africa to make the black people know that we too can make it because Agri has made it. Now back in Ghana, he was the one who persuaded Governor Gwagisbek, who was going to put up a new college in Accra, because in those days, all the schools were concentrated. Onyi, very handsome, innocent, brilliant man. You can just tell from the face. Na iye saba. Now, if we are to proceed, back in Ghana, then Warbesi Achimota School, he was the one who persuaded Governor Gwagisbek there on Yaneme School. Because those days in missionaries in schools in them American boys.
St. Augustine's, boys school.
Nti oye na adwende no. Woma onye mix because share school kumpa we see for girls that time oye
Holy Child
Wesley girls
yeah.
we see no only was separating myself and up to now it has been the Catholic mentality. You know, on the missionaries there, woman may inform mission say no. At the end of the day, they are going to meet and marry and live together. There's no society. I bet that may info society. Ne mesiafo society. And jaba doing no wo trim there. So what not the same classroom no will share there. There will be anything wrong. No, put them together. That was why we had the first middle school at Chimote School. And Goggisberg made him the vice principal. And then there too, he always motivated the students there. One who there were eagles. Were eagles. Now one who there before eagles. Now even though we are under the white people then no one fan there or them eagle. Niche for abefra and koko one dim.
Wow.
Enti wabubo nchefuan. Enu there when you na akoko no better wando. But at a certain point where you know ebo mu there what try there wo be fly wo kosoro kakra wo betu. Now eagle na ba dwuno wo bentum otu obo hu there ne de no kosoro sen nkokom. If obedru baby no wo hu there otum mpo kowim. Da me de anya metena be enyi. Nti aye dem tum moko so nti ebibufu ye hu de ye okor na nya ntina be enyi de ye sure obi na say we shouldn't accept that. We should be able to move on to the highest level. Dem nya mani bi no kekan wo classroom oto obi te dem kroma ni trim oto aziki we ni trim oto Van Hastings Kamuzu Banda nitrima so ono agree when to manage independence ama ebibi man mpa at least ono no training one obeji independence man na say we nguntam nso a nche megigi there nche papa no obeye in fact no won how Kwame Nkrumah so much no how American government to the extent they owu no the only person bibinya we were America Sunday telegram to Africa. Now watch do America thanks Africa for agri.
Wow.
America thanks Africa. The America agri. Man da agri bibi man assay because of agri war no them America man. And indeed it is true when you go to several institutions in America where you see symbol no the match Chimote School the keys black and white keys. Until baby do okay the keys referring to what agri designed. Now, what friend then female empowerment or can't say be there the best way or the only way to pin a nation or a people down is to educate men and focus on them and leave out the women. And he was thinking there, sabi obi efri besi enimuna oba. Nti obi ono wa wo neba. When you say neba 9 months and sana oro wono. There's no way obi back there or do abofraba nesen nyipo nyinsen. So in the same way na yi benyi na besia. Why then na benyi no tumuko school. No ka besia no nko school. Abre besia no same and education. She will add education to the natural role of childbearing. No way impart education to the child even before the child starts going to school. It is a fan that's a basic education. None the education in pa or to be educated now do with you, which is a gift God gave to women, never gave to men. It is a damn papa bibini, no what the margini some more than 100 years ago. No idea with or your genius. Abra Nkrumah call university or a bruchino or share that travel or 2 kwan free baby or one them American Pennsylvania no call. Carolina na eho no nye African students na them time no so ma yenchirem there na Kwame Nkrumah age something like a pass from the Baptist church only name kanyamesem odze mahon na wa man stipend because he was a very poor student no wa man stipend sika kakra o de beto eziban edi. Now Nkrumah went to do something that offended the mission. What did he do? On African students in Wako baby was ye agri nendado. Na Nkrumah otu ensa ano alcohol. Enyinya wenyima. He did what Africans have to do.
That means a poor libation.
Of course. Now when you there, more any is strange.
Say any part one more we friend pass na one more step na to me did na I acquired the mad in that was like
very good.
Yeah.
Enti Nkrumah pour libation on the grave of Agri. Now Abrofu what friend there? Why would he do that? Now Nkrumah catch on them pour on chow. Say yewa offend the one one Bible no ye. Because Africa na ame mifra mebeno yen nananom no ye care there wona we wu koni nyinara we ye nkofo a we mu wotete ho wo hwe yendo nti sama aba Africa ebrochiri hede ya na mechirechire nya o kire made o ye Agri we there so tiase anche mepe homage to him nti se we wu a dem hu de odado wo ho o ye nana a o wa samandu nto e there mugu nensa na onne yaza nyankopon o kire ye nananom ansa na awodi wo Bible no until there is no way I would accept the Bible and leave the religion of my ancestors. It is so ono entu mema memfa mbom no so obaha wa mpocho wo Bible no onyi. That shows one, the fact that Nkrumah respected African traditional religion, but beyond that he also had glowing respect for Agri. It is a Yerika Agri Nasama, Yabaka the black empowerment. And then two, the empowerment of the poor. The Oma one hope, the one year wajin do be two akoso. And then female empowerment. Not just female empowerment, the equality of the sexes. Na eba Ghana Hedea, at least Achimota School stands in great memoriam to Agri.
Okay.
If you so, University of Ghana every year, we Agri Fraser Goggisberg Memorial Lectures. What the kai Agri. You were so Agri Memorial Secondary School, Cape Coast. You will be so Nigeria. Now, so many institutions in the world are named after Agri. In fact, some of the universities in the secondary schools in Ghana were Agri House, Agri Hall.
The Agri Memorial, yeah.
And only a full secondary school in Dado. Now, Odurim Bimbo, some commemorative CD, 5 CD note. I Agri.
You show on TV.
Agri need to.
Me pacho in Agri no quest or find or call abroad, or didn't he experience racism?
Oh, racism didn't check baby Abefebia you would experience it.
Yeah.
Into
5 CDs notes in any. Yeah. Or that.
Into under that me call no. Na American be there. It's not too late for Ghana. There ye best because sometimes they want obi ye adzibi would adwene papa.
Okay.
Sabe President Kufuor ya santi.
Oya
santi. We trace a new route to danger anyway. Now, Tama, Oma waye dem sika for free awaba no. So-called big section. And with the asantini be are him. Until that should tell you that you are bonana
or the year.
But to improve upon it, or there Ghana should adopt what everybody does in the world, what every nation does. What do they do?
What do they do? Yeah.
Onye there say one CDA. Nipe bia wa ye bibia mo man no. Ono ni di ne dado. 2 CDs another person
ni di dado.
Niti odado.
Yeah.
Often then 5 CD nota. Until by the time I start from 1 CD up to 200 Ghana CDs.
Yeah.
Noting. Nature de enya almost 10 often then celebrities. What ye be the man? Or man, I care one. But, well, I beg to differ, and if I'm making a mistake, I stand for correction. But I don't think it is a mistake because I have actually identified almost every currency in the world. Na me hunde, one fenyi pakol ni ti, one fan to do America Lincoln. To all
the legends.
Na say, the so-called big sis, net 1 out to 1 CD, up to 200 Ghana CD note. Na bisa on there, let's say Edward Kufuor, na William Oforiatta, Aku Eje, JB Dankwa.
Yeah.
Ewa. Na Obechebi Lamte. I'm not saying that one yashi, but are you saying there? The Mukrofono was in Agra, was in Mensa Saba, was in Yasantua, was in Ndeura Japa. No. Never. And the word is never. Nefimpo or many ye woman. Sabio, so be a infantina. One besia one not to infanti, what a tender infantina, and sana, or school Mwakacha and a gunny.
In your.
And I'm
Infantini before.
Of course.
Obey.
And son, all questions Mwakacha and a Christian. Into that fountain, you can't uproot from him. Never. The word is
it's
never.
A part of the person, yeah.
It is a kaka yeska. Nesikana ye channel. You can imagine there in the menu call and crane call. Or when I walk in every one region, eastern region. Na north in Yibiara him. And when Yibiara him, Asante Yibiara him.
All right.
Gold Coast.
But so the young dinner had a na call a quick break. And now Niambra. But anyway, before we step in, we're talking about Agre, the great one, indeed. In the picture, Anna Odahono, and we are having in studio your friend today, lawyer Anokye, who is schooling us today. In fact, Mr. Anyama Bebre, we often forget our history. And that really disturbs us as a people in moving forward and having that. And where we are discussing right now is pictures order you know it's no Ghana Sikano. It looks like we have to look into that and make sure that then we'll put right. Agree na order or friend and then 5 cedi notes no. So 5 cedis is notes where is no more in the system.
Just a commemorative one.
There's a commemorative one. Oh, inti our friend then I can't a petition ama your friend the government for.
Uncha America wa Betsy. There one. Next time na say Bank of Ghana will reach sika. That one Bank of Ghana when new authority be a bisa ban back at Bank of Ghana they can't take any decision. It's from the government of the day. I wish then Parliament select committee be no what's enough from there. One nye Ghana or ye de need the highest you offend the denomination the ma best form to obeba na dem no would achieve a lot. The first thing we would achieve on ye there we friend then ye be hu there nya one set of people be watching one in 1948 continue what build day Ghana nkofu pi no what build day. The second thing we would achieve there will be regional diversity. For example, a famous away like Ephraim Ghana undoubtedly into me can Ghana for 10 and from little that at least he stands for a lot of people in the country. One, those who love music, those who love education, and then those from that region, and those who are Christians. He represents so many things. Just one person. A Kokofa Kwame Nkrumah, those who love politics, those who love Panasonic.
He represents
so many things.
All right.
Nabia Akaka for bit there, Yasantiwa, that a woman, waba beje before you need Japadi, what yakona mami being footed to all. When you know why a bomb when there, brass there, you had to go this to Nemahon, now Kunina no do child. Then the woman said, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That be a sick one. Nipo ya ne de no nye prempe defense na ache ne zeko Seychelles no. So you should have inquired from him where the golden stool was. Otherwise you should have brought him to show you where the ten was. The men sitting here, they don't know where the ten is. That was the way she addressed the white men.
Wow.
And then back to her own people and say, hey, nti mote wa mabroni free ni kurom aba so ba beje ya nananu meja pade na uji dis akonfa chi no say tutu ho ha nka broni betuma tu ni 9 years kuma say sorry na ye nkokon and then the Yasantua war broke up.
A woman like this needs to be celebrated.
Of course, yes. That you know that Mofraba baby sahen there. When you I cannot so much under even though I are something or boss Santa for Japan but number no Ojina Homa Ghana because what can the Yasantua war back on the Gold Coast? Then you perform for Wabali, somebody from the north, a famous warrior like in Deura, Japan. No, so Nedewo. Let's say you have the Park Grant on the first person of former political party wa ono so a famous person like Buzia nche ma mecha even on fa humpo a living person like from Pom Boatin sabio the whole world bibinyi a odi kan de nipa to ho no pay ni yem no yi na akoma de akoma fofo odi shebo ye bibinyi o wie no anka Germany ho o ma German government man all the equipment no boboy you offend them set up the same thing from the cardiothoracic center wo kolebu African countries ni na wo be suan wo Ghana menu nti say dem nyi pay nitri da wusika do no ayeden na say kaka fa dem big says amen ka do nye be meyenyi ma anye de abofo be bia bi sam meka do dem kofu 1948 riots na watching one na even po asanda eja sergeant ajete wo ono so na why the whole architect of the whole thing nti see erusuan de we started from agri we are talking about
these are all torchbearers who are we speak about them, we learn about them with schools now.
Every day we should remember people like Agri. Every day we should remember people like Agri. And the only way to make us to remember people like them, only that at least sikana de bia ye use no. I believe that it is wrong there. Nimpa krubi na nidin order them esiano from one city to. Until are you saying that the time now when you are the margin no one dream the Ghana no obi aye bibi for biara oteda the coffee and osen the coffee because I still maintain there big says na you come in krume free ma when I work in our history no you can write it half page of one paper half page of a paper just that. And everybody knows that, even though you would not like it. And I don't care if you don't like it, because I'm saying the truth. I'm saying the truth. Whereas you talk about agri, agri needing them would I be able to make this argument? No.
No.
Because of what I have said this morning, somebody who empowered at least 3 persons to become presidents and then revolutionized African education, brought about female empowerment, and then elevated black people in America.
Wow. Agri or make a statement. No race or people can rise, have a race if they have slave, have free. No race of people can raise that. What does that mean?
No race of our
Also, no race of or people can rise, have slave, have free.
In law, your statement with the half truth is no truth.
Okay.
Joma American. Fande was weku obi. Na weku obi nebi awuna eku nipan. Na aje atumi de nti hwede matter ni mpo wa ye moja. Hwede matter ni mo wa ye moja. Na that day no na nti we akọ baby a papa netin. What you are saying, it is the truth.
No,
but to make it full, faka when they do one year then ekum. Inti Agri is trying to say there, half education is very bad. Nche umamechero. Na bibiara on your full to the full lesson. Enwa on do be on your completing. It is nothing. It is what's accident. Na de bia what dan anya there we do lentil level. No konmo na chira nkrofo there medenyo. Medenyo roof biara inyido what the ma onye ya agrese catch nkofo de enyidan.
Wow.
Nti age biara no make sure you have completed. Nti sabio say school na erkwa ko niye edwuma na erusua sua niye endwuma na eroto na asol de betuma kada eroto endwuma eduru half na eja no wase ato endwuma. Everybody will stop and look at you. Whether ewie sermon area or ewie. So Agri is saying that he doesn't believe in mediocre type of things to the highest, and that means bronyi onto me bedi handle na guda de edi nkrofo won so Messi schools amahon Messi asara amahon Agri will tell you that give them freedom too so that they will control their own affairs.
Wow.
So you see that whatever Nkrumah did, it was Agri speaking through him.
Okay. Interesting one. Was it ever recorded that he had Anokye, your friend, a problem with the white people before now?
No. Oh no. Even in Ghana, now onye one doubt too much there. Agri, show. Obia, okita master's degree se bien, okita PhD, e bien. In Achimotan, onamdo ye bibi yenti, they placed Fraser on top of him. In your into Fraser no with education on do agree ni baby ano. Ono na oya principal na agree ye vice principal. Into that alone should tell the baby be a bakon once there wonam no ye tuntum no bronyi onyi bubiara ma. And then they were also not comfortable.
Were they afraid of him? Maybe he will rise up above them.
Even in America, what question here be say rich and come. That suspicion now, on your day. Okay. Come on, what the Stock Foundation, they share this and who there. The man was excelling. Suddenly, no we. Until before you will be all Casamahan, and she about there a woman now on your qua. Okay. He just left Ghana, went there to continue his work. Before he realized that the man was gone. Until Ian too, a new be aside, found there. Them time not then that. Quebec they be an independent autopsy. And also the body no mortal remains one fire adds in brain. Nancy had now kolebu. Now doctor one Professor Jimembedu Akusanum Washanu there. This is the real cause of death. Yen you been in one may there was that suspicion there. Now brofuni strain. And before black people realizing he was gone. We can't argue that anyway. All right. Lawyer Anokye is schooling us today about Agri. If you just tune in, this is the Max Morning Show, and we are discussing about Torchbearers. What makes them stand out? What are the unique traits that they have that we need to learn and also to build our nation? What was his basic principles that made him stood out? Did he have certain principles that he lived by that made him stood out? He felt today, baby, bronyiwe do biara, given the right opportunity, that is given the environment, okay. That was the thing. That small boy teaching himself Latin, teaching himself Greek, and then an Eastern language being Japanese. He learned it. Now, also Portuguese language. Intina them delegation now, Stokes, what about African? No, I don't lead the one because a country such as Angola or a Portuguese speaking country. And so until one can say, until be from uncle, languages now Ocean was all because he wanted to serve humanity, and he was not interested in serving one set of humanity against others. So would you say that he believed in equality? And more than that, his whole concept of life was equality. Equality between black and white, equality between man and woman, equality between the poor and the rich. Okay. It's very, very simple. Equality in that aspect. Share Bible name, I think it's in the Gospel of Luke. There is a parable by Jesus Nara. Okay. Also, sikenyi bi no otabosam so didi na hia ni bitifom na ebigu fom na onye nkram mbodom na wopre ho. At the end of the day when you know koduro so ahimem na hia nyi no oda Abraham na kokum na sikenyi no so oda ejem. Now the wisdom or the interpretation of this parable na another bear Jesus Christ is very simple. More pedo ochire no onye the one, we are born equal. Everybody will die, and after that there is judgment. And that judgment would affect the poor and the rich equally. And the man went to hell simply because he was supposed to love the poor, but he treated the poor man as a dog. As a result, God was angry. And in the case of the poor, it is believed that he even loved the dogs and other animals more than the poor. It could also be that poor the little no was a man others less disadvantage that only one chair is man. I believe that was why he would go to heaven, not because he was poor, but because of what he did. To be sure that the Minara Agre learned it to a very high level, very deep understanding. He was more of like a sage, somebody who understood his environment. He was a sage, yes. He was. Okay. Completely a man like that. He was just a man, but he was like Nyankopon. Or the man. Or if I don't put it that way, he allowed himself to be led by the love of God.
What is the quality principles and then only the man worry Bunina and Adabari?
Very good. Onye there, he had a long education over there. And the old free Hano, no 23 years. No kasha hoshia as a cherry and sana oreba. Until definitely he would have to marry. And that was why he married a white woman. Appropriately. Nchoba war bibi. Ewa nancha akade. Agre was a very proud African. Like somebody like Nkrumah. And they are for 1 billion in Pomahon. Nasa bibi new years onward. Only they utterly he hated white people. And when he came here he wanted to bridge the gap between North Africa and South Africa.
That is
so
why
he decided to marry there. And in the case of Agre, he stayed in the US for long. Definitely, he will get somebody very close to him and his heart, whether black or white. But the way you are thinking, maybe was also in him. There, Samawar Brunyimpo, today, Bibini, Namawar Brunya. Let's look for there. These people are nobodies. So, Yansu Yenipawar Bruni. After all, who is Bruni? Anamboa.
Look quite.
Anamboa.
Look quite. Very, very, very interesting. Well, friend, then, do we have, if up to today, like before the lineage, how?
Lineage, Oh, Nebusian for Nukrum, Anomabo.
Okay.
Nebusian for Nukrum, Anomabo. Na, if you so, Nembana or one. One son and better Ghana.
Okay.
What's na US ma, Wakuko investment, and the Nana Nanomo. Nti, Sunday, Yadadia did this home of an a year of return. Na the May Caribbean for ya and so you celebrate Buo. My Rollins de Bay ya, or do African Americans Piwabano. Agri grandchildren Waba Ghana.
Wow.
Every year Waba. Now fasten sooner or establish an appear. Or now establish a Ghana them school no Agri Memorial second now fasten. So the family is intact. Agri's grandchildren are in the US. They've been coming to Ghana almost every year. His family is intact.
Torchbearers, are they born or like are made in society?
All men are born equal, but there is quality among men.
All men are born equal, but there is quality among men.
Yes.
Interesting.
Ware muno. Why there? Edisha wutiri me there. Ebe ye bibi. Woriasi. In much the same way, no. Woba na awon no. Why there? Motivate abofraba ne there. Ebe ye bibi. Woriasi. There awo woba. Ewu da me voice. Obi a nenwe ntuem biara owo echiru no. Na adwene be ye nde besia na orekasa. Na nche bia me ma amenye wa na me papa no. Na reteteme no. Na abon na kasa de besia. Na be yin so na kasa de besia. You understand?
Yeah.
Or na besia na wo hwene kakraka. Na besia na wo voice de. Them negative, one fantastic mofraba. But you encourage the person. I remember when I was at the University of Ghana Law Faculty, there was a lecturer, Mr. K.Y. Yabu. No, papa, ne pemasam too much. Na opemasam. On an advice in your day. You see, I love you. I want you to become a great lawyer. Go to Kwelebu Teaching Hospital, ENT department, and they will do something. They will perform a surgery, and then your voice will become masculine.
Masculine voice.
Not opemasam.
Oh,
but
right.
Me do one. Me quite because I'm so me papa nasam. Me do one head of department. Unfortunately, not enjoy them be anything. Me nyane kasa ye besia. No, nyame kasa ne nwaje mo wan as a young man. Erica say, I didn't give you a microphone in order to hear you. I heard you all right. And you don't have a woman's voice. You only have a small voice, soft
don't
voice.
have, yeah.
You have a soft voice. So all that you need to do, anytime you are addressing any group of people, just make sure the last person will hear you. Wow. And we live in a world where when anybody is addressing a large group of people, microphones have been invented. So what's your problem? Please go away. Don't allow anybody to deceive you. And today, as I sit here, I'm able to address people on platforms in the courtroom, in churches, everywhere. And I rather feel proud there. Some Rebecca said, hey, maybe we make the greatest an impact, and I do, and I know it.
Oh yes, you surely do.
Yeah. Example there. Nipe biara ni wa nyankopon obo no wie no ofi there one body ye because he looked at what he had done and he said it was good.
Yes.
Nti motivate womba. Now in the motivation no shaja abofraba ne pe. Don't say there nkofo ka there oh a doctor ye, a engineer, accountant, another lawyer oye. No. Mijina hesi Lil Wayne a Jeko na akuria acrobato. Nkofo nyim ho ne sanam.
No quite.
Meanwhile, they have not attained the level of education I have. Nti nyipe biara. Na boy ya me penasem too much. Black sheriff. Na a shaman then offend.
Stone boy.
Aha. I mean, obiawo obiawo ne na footballer. The whole nation, 31 million people of Ghana. See when the blasters were rubber baller, including the president. To go and watch those 11 people.
No,
we don't go and watch Akufo-Addo.
No.
We don't watch Mahama.
No.
And we don't look for Kwame Nkrumah or Mandela. We watch those 11 people and we pray that they win. No, and they were those 11 people are Sabe when education will do it. Everybody is important.
Everybody is important. Thank you very much. One of the greatest historians and practitioner, lawyer Anokye. Now, Michelle Bebre, you have inspired the whole nation this morning, and I wish you all the best. Your voice sounds amazing, and when you speak, I love it, and I believe everybody that's watching at home also loving you. Michelle Papa, thank you for educating us.
I'm proud of the voice.
Yeah, that's it.
Me, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and voice no black and white note. Them together. All right, God richly bless you. Thank you for educating the whole nation this morning.
You also inspire me.
Yeah.
And then whoever set up this a great institution, not only creating jobs but educating the people of Ghana and the whole world.
Yes.
Because you're Kasanda Oko baby, almost Yaminshra.
All right, God bless you. All right, beautiful people, you've been educated, I have been educated, and of course, what I would urge you is that go back and play this video. You can find it on our social media platform, especially on Facebook. Do go check it and learn it, share it, and make sure you tell your children about the great Agri. With that, they will also live to become great torchbearers one day in the future. God richly bless you.